And go.
My name's Lauren Greenfield, and I'm the director of Generation Wealth.
Now, you made Queen of Versailles a few years back, and this carries over thematically and with some of the elements of the film.
Yeah, in a way, Queen of Versailles, or the making of that, at least that time, the time of the financial crash, was really the inspiration for this project because I realized at that moment it kind of made all the stories that I've done since the 90s about excess and materialism and the value of celebrity into a kind of morality tale about the flaws with the way we have been living. And so I guess after the Queen of Versailles, I kind of thought that was the morality tale we were going to learn from. But when we didn't learn from it, and we just kind of kept on in the same way with the kind of cycle of consumerism, I realized that it was a kind of addiction, and that's what I explored in this film.
Now, part of the film, the underlying theme is those Kardashians, with the footage stuff, and then. At what point did you realize, wow, I have all these photos of Kim Kardashian in high school?
Yeah, that was amazing. So when I started doing this project, and it started as a book, I decided to go back through all of my work and kind of look at the outtakes and think about what it all meant and kind of how it provided evidence for this cultural shift. And sometimes it was stories I had done and I knew the pictures, but sometimes there were other pictures where, with the benefit of time and retrospect, they took on other meanings. So when I was going through all the outtakes from my work on kids in LA, I found this picture where I thought the girls looked familiar and I couldn't quite place it, and then I realized it was Kim Kardashian, and she hadn't made the cut in my first book, Fast Forward, because she wasn't important then. She was just the daughter of the O.J. Simpson lawyer. But in terms of how my work had developed and how she had developed, she had become a cultural touchstone for so many of the themes that were important to Generation Wealth, from the fact that they became so wealthy from their celebrity, this idea of kind of being famous for being famous, but also the fact that she started with a sex tape and kind of what that meant for the way girls kind of sell themselves and become commodified, and then how that is now kind of acceptable.
Now, did you try to contact the Kardashian family to see if you could interview her on camera?
We did make a request and never got to, unfortunately. I would say Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump were the two interviews that got away.
Now, the film is playing theatrically, I was told, this summer?
Yes, it'll open in July in the theaters.
And also later on, at some point, Amazon Prime, I believe one of the producers of the film will also be.
Yeah, and then it'll stream towards the end of the year.
Okay, well, and how was it in your life when you realized you were going to be a part of the movie and everything around you? How did that brace you for, I've got to start showing up on camera somehow?
I wasn't really ready for that. My editor first had the idea, and at first it was just like cringe every time I saw myself on camera, but I think I got used to it, and I kind of felt like I had to force myself to get used to it because I film and photograph other people so intimately, and they kind of share their private zones with me. I felt like I needed to be willing to be on camera without makeup, with all my flaws, and kind of showing it how it is too.
And one last question, because you started with film, and now
with photography.
No, I meant your
film,
actual film,
analog,
35 millimeter film,
yeah.
and then you moved to digital. How does that change your relationship with your subject when they can quickly see what you've shot and framed up, or do you have to hide all that stuff from them?
Yeah, I try not to show people as I go. In fact, if I can discipline myself, I try not to look at it as I go also. I mean, of course, I'll take a break and look at it before I finish a scene to make sure I don't need to change the lighting or something. But I find that if I am constantly looking at what I'm doing, kind of judging and thinking about the picture critically, it takes me out of the moment with my subject. So my assistant Peter, who I've worked with for a long time, always says, "Don't chimp, Lauren, don't chimp." And so I try not to look at the camera too much. And I definitely don't share that with the subject in the middle of a photo shoot, because it just brings in this whole other level of self-consciousness that gets in the way of making the pictures.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait for the film to come out again.